unmute this.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is a lively crew today. My name is Dan Corman. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors. It is May 10th, and I'm going to keep giving you data until it gets quiet. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody feeling today? All right. I like the enthusiasm. It's great to see everybody chatting and having a good time. It's not windy yet, so we're doing great. I'm Dan Corman, Vice Chairman of the Board of Directors. Please send healthy vibes over to Jameson. His little is feeling under the weather today, so I am yet again running the show. I apologize. So first order of business is to find out if anybody is having their first visit with us today. Is there anybody's first time? Please stand up and introduce yourself. Oh, okay. One at a time is fine.
Hi, I'm Catherine Wagner. I'm the new executive director of the Great Hill Creative Institute.
Thanks for being here.
I'm Sam Redman. I'm a sales representative for Sun.
Thank you for the coffee, Sam.
Ted Holstein, Public and Governmental Affairs Manager for LaPlata County.
Glad to have you, Ted. Thank you so much. All right, so I'd like to introduce our coffee sponsor today. You may have heard of them. Please welcome Fort Lewis College. Do we have a representative who's speaking for the Fort today as the sponsor? We have a couple of representatives in-house. No? Elizabeth? Yeah, come on up.
Hi, everybody. Elizabeth Bussian. I'm Career Services with Brett and Jeff here today. This is our Career Services team. We're really excited to talk about our internship program along with the Economic Alliance. And our team, our Career Services team, is really excited about all the opportunities out there. We're working really hard to get as many students as possible in internships and in jobs right now. And that's our main focus as over 500 students graduate this weekend on Saturday. So we're working as hard as we can to get everybody in a job who wants to work. And we look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
And we'll be hearing more from Fort Lewis College and their internship program a little bit further down the road in the agenda. Some board updates. We met last week and had a really good update from Mike. We have a lot of active projects going and we had a cash flow review and all is right on budget. It's amazing. We're doing great. And a big thanks to Mike for running the helm there. We discussed the successful Chairman's Circle event held on April 27th right here in this room. And actually, if you look over at that board, they don't erase that board ever. And that's been there since April 27th, but you can actually see some of the comments and notes from that meeting, some of the pain points, some of the positives that came out of that. So we're looking forward to the next event. It'll be after the summit and we'll announce details when we have those. For the summit, we do have a potential keynote and theme. We talked about it in our board meeting, but I think Mike will share a little bit in his comments later here in a moment. The board has also formed an official membership committee, and that's being headed up by Joe. And if you want to join that membership committee, please speak with myself or any of the board members, Mike, and let us know if you'd like to help us do outreach, because as you know, this is a very powerful group and we do a lot of things to try to move forward anything and everything La Plata County economic development. So without further ado, we will introduce the director, Michael French.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Good morning, everybody. All right, there we go. As Dan indicated, we had a really productive Q1 and we're spot on in terms of budget through April of 2022. We are starting to plan the summit content, and we're leveraging a steering committee. So if anybody's interested in participating in that, please tap me a note. It's mike@yeslpc.com. And once we've signed any contracts with keynotes, or we have leaned into a theme, I'll make sure and notify folks. But we're pretty excited. There's 2 really strong candidates. We'll have a contract out to one of them this week, and that person will publish a book in the first week of June. And so I would imagine that within the next 10 days, we'll have a contract lined up, which is great. Want to thank membership, Chairman Circle members, Alpine Bank, Investor Level Region 9 Economic Development, and Texas Capital Partners. They're new to the group. Associate members, HDS Freight, Newbold, Chapman and Geyer, Frederick Zink and Associates, Visit Durango, Friends, Phoenix Recycling, Express Employment Professionals, Terrell Peterson, and our public partner, City of Durango. These are all renewals or new members for the month of April. So thank you very much. A reminder that for a full housing forecast, I mentioned this last meeting, but I went back and looked at it again. It's just really great content. Please go to wellsfargo.com and check out the annual real estate forecast that Bob Allen and John Wells have prepared. Again, it's about an hour's worth of content, but it's very comprehensive. It goes into multiple sectors, lots of data there. I'll briefly highlight some numbers for housing for April. These numbers just came out, I think, yesterday. The numbers were a little bit different than expected. April housing numbers, the prices only rose modestly year over year to about 10%, and inventory is not down 50+% as it usually has been. What is accelerating is the shrinking days on market, along with a continued decrease in listings. So if you see days on market for La Plata County was down close to 30%, and new listings was down 20%. That number is even a larger gap in terms of Durango proper. If you look at sold listings, down 30%, but days on market is down a whopping close to 65%, which is pretty significant. That's the largest movement we've seen in, I think, a couple of years in terms of the acceleration of sales in terms of time frame. Bayfield, it stayed very steady. The only thing that changed is price increase. We saw a significant price increase both in average and median price, 24% and almost 37% respectively. Quick project updates. The Southern U Tribe and CU Boulder School of Business will host the Entrepreneur Conference this weekend. So it's Friday evening, this Friday, May 13th, and all day Saturday, May 14th at the Sky Casino. We're still offering scholarships, so if anybody's interested in attending, we'll waive all the registration fees. We'll pick that up, and we'll even, if folks are needing to travel, we'll even put folks up at the casino. So just see us if you have any interest in participating. We mentioned last month that the Alliance has partnered with La Plata County, FLC, PCC, and Colorado Workforce Center to launch a talent pipeline. This will include 20 paid internship programs. So we formalized the process with FLC. Brett, thanks for coming here from FLC and speaking about this today with Career Services. We'll look to broadcast the process and the application this afternoon. So Michelle will send out an email to everybody and start garnering interest from our membership. The objective is to find member organizations that have open headcount and match them with either seniors or graduates and get folks to work as soon as possible. We'll hopefully also create a talent pipeline for people that have ongoing positions open and want to create that talent pipeline with an active internship program. So we're really excited about this. I expect to fill those 20 internship programs probably within the next 6 months. And just based on interest from our membership, we have the ability to go back to the county. This is considered a pilot program and potentially reload if possible. So I'm very excited about that. So stay tuned this afternoon. We've already got a landing page in place for people to apply. So we'll advertise that link and advertise the process and the next steps. Again, that'll happen this afternoon. Alliance, as noted last month, is starting a pre-development planning fund for workforce housing projects. We're waiting for the investment plan. It's a 3-year investment plan that we're doing with Project Moxie. Many of you guys have heard about this, even participated as stakeholders. We're waiting for that to be published. It will be published this month. Once that is published, we'll have some defined parameters about how we're going to fund the and create the application and partner with RHA to infuse some monies into these projects. What we're looking for is projects of scale that are potentially 300 units or more, very focused on workforce housing, and then we'll seed those with pre-development funds. Right now, the fund is $125,000. We're looking to grow that and soliciting both the city, county, as well as a private entity and foundation for some additional monies. If we can get that up to $500,000, that's kind of our goal. And that will allow us to, in earnest, fund a handful of projects at a decent dollar amount. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to Dan Corman. Thank you.
All really good stuff. And that internship program is going to be awesome. So if you want to sign up, please do go to our website. Try to get some of this talent to stay here in town, even though they can't afford it. So we do have a handful of visitors today. It's not quite as packed as usual, so feel free to take a few minutes to discuss your agendas. But please welcome Brett Poland with Fort Lewis College, and he's going to discuss the talent development program, aka the internships.
Thank
you. Good morning. My name is Brett Poland. I am the internship coordinator at Fort Lewis College, and we are excited to talk a little bit more about the internship program that we have at the institution. So first, talking about the partnership itself, basically the way it will work, as Mike had talked about earlier, is the Alliance is able to provide some funding for interns. So at FLC, we truly believe that our talent today shouldn't be doing internships for free. They should be receiving some type of funding on top of the internships that they do for free. A lot of times they're paying for credit, school credit as well. So this is actually detrimental to them. So to be able to provide some kind of funding to them is kind of the goal and the initiative there. So the student pool, we currently have 41 students that have participated in the student pool. They gave me their information, their major, the industry that they're interested in. This pool is going to be used to advertise the positions that you all have. It's also going to be used if you come to us and say, we want somebody who wants to do marketing or somebody who wants to do project management. We'll be able to look through the talent pool and reach out individually to each of these students. On top of that, we're going to be using Handshake, our Handshake platform, which is similar to a LinkedIn for college students. We'll be advertising to students through that method as well. The process to participate is going to be to first apply through the Alliance. And then once they go through their process, they'll list your position onto Handshake. And then we will try to send the talent pool over to you all. If there's somebody in particular that you're interested in reaching out to or a certain major that you want to advertise to, you're welcome to reach out to me. I have my business cards here and I'll be happy to help you with that. Compensation, the model is built on $20 per hour for the student. So there's two different ways that the student can do it. This is up to the student. So they can do an internship for credit or not for credit. If a student chooses to do something for not credit, there's chances that they don't want to pay for the credits through FLC. They just don't want the formalized process. We don't care what they do on each side. We want to make sure that our students receive funding, whether it's for credit or not for credit. However, if the student still does a not credit internship, we're still going to follow the model for credit internships, which is 150 hours. And then the Alliance is going to work to set them up with a mentor. If they do a 4 credit internship, they will be paired up with one of our faculty members who will be their faculty advisor, help them out, but we will also help pair them with a mentor either in the company or outside the company, whatever they want to do or whatever the Alliance wants to work with them on that. The next steps, as mentioned by Mike, is to apply once that becomes live. And then they'll work with you to get your internship possibility up on Handshake. And then we'll start streaming some students over to you all. So I have with me a printout of our expectations for our students, what we like to see with the different companies, learning outcomes, things like that. I'll leave that up here, so you're welcome to grab it. I also have business cards that I'll leave up here that you're welcome to grab, but I'll hang on to a few. So if we chat after the meeting, then I'll be happy to give you some. So, all right, thank you all. Yes.
One question, the 150 hours, is that expected to be completed within a semester?
So if it's for credit, it will need to be done within a semester. If it's not for credit, then that's going to be between you and us. They come up with certain rules, but within a semester would be good.
Yeah, just one point of clarification. So the 150 hours at $20 an hour amounts to $3,000, and that's what the Alliance will subsidize per intern to the organization. We also have some funds to pay for the mentor, whether it's within the organization or from FLC faculty. So that's why it's kind of a big deal. Excuse me?
Are public entities eligible?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Really cool program, and the Alliance is super excited to be part of that initiative. So please do sign up. All right. So you all know him as Jack. Please welcome Jack Llewellyn, the Director of the Chamber of Commerce.
The chamber
Really? Space bar? What's that? I hit it. What's that? Hold it down. You gotta remember, I wear hearing aids, so I can't hear it. and you won't. Oh, that one?
The lower one.
Ah, gotcha. Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Clark, how are you? Good, good. I wanted to talk about the Durango Rocks. How many of you made it to Durango Rocks? I apologize for my bad jokes, and thank you for attending it. We had a great turnout. So nice to see everybody back in person. You can look at the list up here. These are the recipients. I like to say recipients, not winners, because that implies losers. And if you are nominated for an award, congratulations. And it's never too early to nominate. So if you have a business, an individual, an organization, please get the nominations to us at the chamber, and then we'll reach back out to you if you don't have all the details. So make sure that you get us those nominations, but congratulations to all of this year's recipients. It was a long list, and we appreciate everybody doing the nominations. Also, real quick, I want to plug that Leadership La Plata. We're taking applications. How many LLP grads in the room or are currently in the class? Look around the room. LLP is an incredible program. I went through LLP I'd been here 25 years, and I was shocked at how much I did not know about La Plata County and our community and all the different inner workings. So applications, I like to say, are due May 25th, even though they're due May 31st. So please take a look at that. You go to leadershiplaplata.org. May 19th is our upcoming business after hours at above Sunnyside at the Purple Cliffs building right behind Home Depot. And we're going to be doing a tier dues restructuring of our tier dues. But again, congratulations. I'm not going to read through the list of all of the recipients. And does anybody have any questions? Because I can go on and on if you want me to. I mean, you know, All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And again, get your nominations to us as soon as possible. Hit the space bar, that one.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
So we have the pleasure of introducing Gage Sippy, who's going to discuss the Iron Horse Bicycle Classics 50th anniversary. Welcome, Gage.
Thank you.
You knew I was gonna screw it up, didn't you? Okay.
Mike, are you making fun of me?
Jack, I was hoping you'd screw it up, so when I did, I wouldn't look so bad. Okay, I'm Gage Sippy, involved with the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic. We are gonna talk about the 50th Iron Horse. So kind of a funny story about the 50th, and I see my friend Tim Zink sitting right here in front. So when we celebrated the 40th anniversary, whenever that was, 10 or 11 years ago, we had COVID in the middle. Tim's dad, Ed, about an hour after I put everything back in the barn, he said to me, let's start talking about the 50th. And I said, Ed, listen, I don't even have a pulse at this point. We got to get this one over and we'll talk about that. I am happy we made it to the 50th. So a lot of things have taken place in the last 10 years that have not made it necessarily an easy path, including losing Ed. And so I'm happy we've made it to this point. So let's talk about what we are going to do this year. Okay, so just as from a context standpoint, the Iron Horse is the second oldest cycling event in the United States. So think about all the things that come and go in 50 years. We've somehow held on all of this time and kept it going very much because of the community. And so we are trying to put on a full menu of events that are going to showcase a little bit of what we all always done. So we're going to go back in the past a little bit, and we're going to look to the future a little bit as well. So we're going to do our mainstay. We're going to have people ride their bikes from Durango to Silverton. That's the essence of the event, make no mistake. So we will have 2,500 people do that route. We're going to do a quarter horse, which goes up to Purgatory. And new this year is going to be a U-Ray to Silverton component. So you're going to get on your bike in U-Ray and you're going to ride over the hill, over Red Mountain Pass, and arrive in Silverton. So all the riders from Durango and U-Ray will be coming together on Main Street in Silverton for the finish. So if you've ever ridden Red Mountain Pass on a bicycle, it's incredible. It'd be a lot more incredible without cars. So we're going to close the highway and get that done. We're going to do a gravel, and we're also happy to include U-Ray. So they've kind of suffered from us through the years of us closing roads and this, that, and the other. We're happy to include them this year. We're going to do a gravel ride. We're of course going to have the Crazy Kids Race up at Fort Lewis College. And we are bringing back an event from the early 90s. Most of you probably weren't here, but there used to be a made-for-TV mountain bike event that took place at Chapman Hill called the Roost Master. We're bringing that back. We're building a dual slalom course at Chapman Hill. When you're driving past there today, you'll see us building it. We're doing a community bike parade that will end up finishing over at Chapman Hill during the Roost Master and dual slalom. And then we're going to go mountain bike racing out at Durango Mesa Park. So we have a lot of cycling events planned for the weekend because we are a bike race. And then we're going to do some commemorative efforts. And so those three characters right there in that picture are the reason I'm standing here today. So those are the Mayer brothers and Ed Zink. So the Mayer brothers are the ones that challenged each other. I'll beat you to Silverton on my bicycle. And if I do, you're going to buy me a candy bar, or vice versa. Jim worked for the train. Tom was the rider. I'm happy to say they're both going to be here this year, and Tom intends to ride his bike yet again. And Jim plans to be on the train. So we're going to reenact that one more time. And so it's great to see them in that picture. So we have a year-long Center for Southwest Studies exhibit that will start at the end of the month, and it's called Looking Back and Racing Ahead, 50 Years of the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic and Durango's Cycling Culture. We will do the Iron Horse Veterans Train. So on the day of the event, the train that races the bicyclists to Silverton will have 100 veterans on that train. And we will recognize what Memorial Day really is about in Silverton that day. We also will have a jet flyover to recognize that event. If you've ever been in Silverton for a jet flyover, it's pretty darn awesome. We will have Rocky Mountain PBS coverage and a story coming out. We have brought in the Outside Magazine cycling publications. They've essentially bought them all, and they will be coming here to do feature stories about the Iron Horse in Durango over the course of the weekend. This coming weekend, we're doing stories from the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic with Ned Overend. So I sat down with Ned yesterday. My Lord, that guy's been doing the Iron Horse a long time, and we were talking about things that date back to the right at 1980 racing the Iron Horse. Ned will still be racing. He'll still be racing professionally this weekend. He's 66. And I'll guarantee you there's a top 10 in that man's future in the pro class. So and Ned will be out there with the 18-year-olds. So if you want to come see Ned, he's kind of his own thing. We'll be at Animas Museum because they're celebrating their 50th this year as well. We have a mural project going on with the Creative District, and we have invited a lot of past racers, dignitaries, critical supporters, so on and so forth to come join the event. It's incredible when you start trying to put together the list of people you want to recognize over 50 years. So we have been hard at it trying to make sure that we are including as many people in this as we possibly can. But 50 years, it's a heck of a long stretch for any special event. So we're happy we made it. Okay, so people always ask me, what's this event about? You know, explain to me how many people come, so on and so forth. So as of right now, we have participants from 43 states registered in 5 countries. And so that's a, you know, when you start thinking about people coming from all over the world, we literally have that at this event and have for many, many years. And so over the weekend, we will have 3,500 people ride their bicycle. So that's a pretty darn big event from a cycling standpoint. I go to a lot of cycling events. When they have 1,000 or 2,000 people, it seems like a big deal. We will have 3,500. And we hit a high water mark this year. We have 30% female registrations. That's been growing every year, but we are happy to see that we are offering the types of events and folks are enjoying it, and we're getting a large female participation. So that is good. That is good news. People always ask me, a lot of folks think we can put this event on for free. Let me assure you, we cannot. So we will spend $475,000 to put this year's event on. I'm happy to say a lot of that money stays here locally. And so we generate our funding via registrations and some level of sponsorship, but we turn around and we spend most of it to put the event on. Economic impact, our projected economic impact for the 2022 event is $4.5 million. So one thing to make note, it is a bicycle event, but really back in 1972, 73, the event was really around to do something to kick off the summer and generate some economic impact for our community. Now that we're the bustling metropolis it doesn't seem as important, but I think it's probably safe to say if the Iron Horse went away, we might miss that $4.5 million hitting town on Memorial Day weekend. Silverton, I can assure you, misses it when we don't come to town. So it's a great opportunity for us to help out our local community. And just for fun, we're going to build up a little pop-up bike park at Chapman Hill that's going to stay up for the summer and fall of 2022. That construction started yesterday. Until we get the one done at Durango Mesa, we're going to try to do something fun. We'll use it for the Iron Horse, but we'll leave it up for the remainder of the weekend. So just kind of some fun things that we hopefully can give back to the community on. Lastly, if Ed were here, he would say thank you to the community for supporting this, being a part of it, sponsoring it, whatever it may have been. But he would have also said thank you for all of those that have put up with it. And so not everyone digs the skinny cyclists, right? I get it, man. Trust me, riding around on their Lycra and their fancy bikes. But it is a testament to our community that this thing continues to go on after 50 years. I can tell you personally, the support I've seen through the years from so many different organizations, many of them in this room, are critical to keeping this thing alive and well. And so I hope all of you take part in it in some way over Memorial Day weekend. And if you don't, and if you leave because you're like, man, I don't want to deal with all the traffic and all the people, again, thank you for your support as well. So any questions about the Iron Horse? And I'm going to switch gears real quick and talk briefly about Durango Mesa Park. But any questions on the Iron Horse stuff? Yes, sir.
475,000 expense. What's the biggest part of our expense? Did you narrow it down to one really?
We spend a considerable amount of money on law enforcement. We spend a considerable amount of money on insurance. And so, believe it or not, we spend $10,000 on porta potties. And so there's a lot of those kind of expenses that range $10,000 to $20,000 that stack up fairly heavily by the time you get, down to the end. But we will spend all of that providing buses and trucks to bring people back and haul stuff around. All of those things are our big ticket items. Okay, because a lot of folks do the math and they say, okay, $100 for registration, 2,500 people. I've had that many times. You guys must be making a fortune. I'm like, oh man, we are rich. Okay, so any other questions about Iron Horse stuff? And then briefly, Durango Mesa Park. So I am a board member for the foundation. We spoke to you, I think we spoke to you folks last spring about progress we were making up there. And we've had some things change in the positive direction. And so all of us, I think, want to get started on this project. So where are we at right now? What have we been doing in late 2021 and 2022? Discussion is well underway about the city of Durango annexing the property. We're working with the county and the city on that discussion. The benefits of an annexation, city water, become a big thing because it allows us to develop more of Durango Mesa Park on an earlier time frame. So the annexation process and discussion is underway as we speak. We have completed an emergency access component to get people off the mesa. There's one road in, we needed emergency access to get off. We've completed that piece. We have hired a company that's doing all of the master planning for both bike park, BMX, dog park, Frisbee golf, shared parking venue, and also camping space on the mesa. And it is our hope that in 2023, we are under construction with those items. So that's good news and a lot of effort going into that and a lot of collaboration amongst the different organizations. We're planning on doing a demonstration trail project that will connect Durango Mesa Park and the Horsfeld Trail System late this year, get started on that piece. So we have some more connectivity to the location for the future. We have some special events planned up on the mesa, Iron Horse being one of them in 2022. And then the last piece is what we're very happy about is the strong collaboration we have between technically the three entities that need to work well together to get this going for our community. And so there's a lot of upside if we can get going on the mesa. We can move things up there and free up real estate downtown, such as where the fairgrounds are at. So there's a lot of great opportunity. And we are doing a good job in late 21 and early 22 of working in lockstep to make some forward progress on the mesa. So I would like to think that by the end of the year, we're going to be moving some dirt up there with regards to this demonstration trail piece. We'll have a great master plan underway and we'll be underway with the emergency access. One thing I do see that I missed, we also have identified and worked out with CDOT what kind of access we need off of Highway 3 from a signal and so on and so forth. So we are now ready to implement that plan and build that when the time necessitates that. Okay. Anything else? Any questions on Mesa? Brad Tafoya.
Thank you for your leadership with both of these things, especially with Iron Horse. For 3,500 people in town and with all three communities, it's no easy task. So thank you for your leadership.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Okay, that was an incredible update. Very exciting stuff. Thank you again, Gage. We have Julie Constant with CDOT to talk about the bridge to everywhere. Need to advance slides, spacebar.
All right. Okay. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I am Julie Constant. I'm short, so I'll try and stand on my tippy toes, but I'm told I have to stand by the mic. I am the Regional Transportation Director for CDOT. I took over for Mike McBaugh, which I'm sure many of you knew about a year ago when he retired and went to work for HDR and is still running around the community, actually working on the Durango Mesa Park project. Okay, so big picture, our big project out there where the bridges to the future, I think is what we're calling them at this point. As if you drive the Highway 550 corridor down to Farmington, you see huge piles of dirt. If you see the bridges as you're on the highway, so we are making some very significant progress out there, and it is very exciting. Part of the reason why, I don't know if I can point this out or not. There we go. As I'm sure you've all read in the paper, we are getting ready today to close down this bridge here. Part of the reason why we are getting ready to close down this bridge here, whoopsie, is, oh shoot, I broke it. One more, okay. Okay, so we're closing the bridge because as you can see up here, we are moving a whole bunch of dirt. There is going to be a future roundabout basically right where this wall is at. And so to be able to get this dirt out of here that we need to construct the roundabout, we have to work right on top of the ramp. We don't really want live traffic moving back and forth under there while we're moving big rocks and a lot of dirt. So it's really a safety issue from that perspective. And we are reusing as much as that dirt and rock and material as possible on further south for the realignment that we have going on out there. So we're trying to repurpose as much of that material as possible. The other thing we have going on out there is we've got the excavation. And then if you've driven that bridge, I'm sure you've noticed the settlement. It's kind of like a ski jump. What's going on is we have the approaches to two bridges out there actually settling, and they've been settling for a number of years. I guess when the hospital was built, it had similar issues on the soils that we have out there. So what we are planning to do is basically build a earth bridge almost from the edge of the bridges to more stable land, more stable ground closer to the roundabout. So that, of course, will require that bridge to be closed as well to complete that part of the project. So those are the two reasons why we're getting ready to close that bridge down for 14 months. For those that have gotten used to it, it's probably going to be a painful process, but once it's all done and put together, it's going to be well worth it. Other activity that we have going on the project is we are going to be paving those northbound lanes. So a lot of the dirt lanes that you see as you're headed towards Farmington off to the left. We are almost to the point where we're about ready to start paving those in May. And then as the summer progresses, our plan is to shift all the traffic to those newly paved lanes for the northbound lanes, and then they'll start working on the southbound lanes, which is where they'll then move all that dirt over to. So that's why you're seeing what you're seeing out there. It's really exciting. At this point, we're projecting completion in August of 23. We have slowed down a little bit due to workforce shortages, due to material shortages, due to, we've got some wildlife underpasses, those big culverts that you see out there as you drive over, those are wildlife underpasses. What you see so far is just half of it, which is the northbound piece. And then that exact same thing will be built on the southbound piece as well. So just be patient with us, but we're getting there. Any questions on that project before I move on to the next? Yes.
Will both bridges close right away or just the one high bridge?
Just the high bridge to begin with.
Okay.
And then I'm not quite sure on the staging of that ramp because the ramp bridge that comes right off the highway, I know that's very crucial. So we'll work well to get it out, try and keep the closure as minimal as possible and make sure people are aware. Fortunately, we do have the intersection at Three Springs that helps manage some of that when we get to that point. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, wrong space bar. Okay. Yeah, no worries. And now, thanks to the efforts of La Plata County, we really appreciate our partnerships with them. La Plata County did submit the original grant application we did get for the connection. The 16550 connection project wouldn't have happened if La Plata County hadn't applied for a fast lanes grant on CDOT's behalf. So we're partnering with them again to apply for a grant that's coming out of the infrastructure dollars that were passed recently to try and improve 160 from Elmore's Corner east out to about the Dry Creek area. Right now, CDOT has some 10-year plan dollars. So Senate Bill 260, if anyone was paying attention to that, is going to fund a 4-lane section plus a center turn lane from the intersection of Elmore's Corner out to about County Road 225. That's that big intersection down at the bottom of the valley that we widened out a few years ago. So we are trying to leverage those dollars and leverage some safety dollars that we have in a project for the intersection of 225 and 160 and bring those together as match to continue working further to the east. And our plan right now is to put in some alternating passing lanes between 225 and the Dry Creek area, which is where we built that wildlife underpass a few years ago as well. We do have an EIS that shows a full alignment eventually of 4 lanes in each direction, but just the way the funding is working right now and greenhouse gases and so many other things that have changed since that EIS was done, we at least feel like we could probably get some traction to go ahead and put in alternating passing lanes in each direction through that section, widen it out, get shoulders, do that type of thing. So, we're really excited to be putting in for it. Don't know for sure how likely we are to get the grant on the first round. If we don't, we will continue to pursue additional grants over the years. My understanding is the infrastructure bill does have annual calls for all of these bigger grants, so we'll continue to pursue it and push for it. And we are building a roundabout at County Road 225 and 160. The reason why we're doing that is it's a safety project, and we've had a lot of very serious high-speed crashes there. Even with the most recent improvements, the amount of development and the amount of people we have using that intersection from the county roads on the side streets, both the north and the south side of the road, it's just a really dangerous place to be trying to make left-hand turns onto the highway. So this roundabout that we are designing, as you're coming into it, there'll be some traffic calming, curving of the highway to slow people down so it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It will be designed so that the truck traffic that travels the highway is able to navigate it safely, but it will also slow everybody down so the people that are getting on and off the highway at that intersection will be able to do it safely. We've done a bunch of studies on the traffic. There will be enough natural gaps in there that it should work just fine. So that project is funded with safety dollars already, is happening no matter what. The Elmores East piece, which is the widening of the highway across the Florida Mesa, is happening as well, no matter what. And then we're just trying to chase the grant dollars to push 2.5 miles further to the east. Any questions on this? Or any other CDOT projects, because that's where I was going to stop at. All right, thank you.
Yeah, that was enlightening. We're on to our community updates. We will bring up Tommy Crosby.
Morning, y'all. Tommy Crosby with the city of Durango, for those of you that I have not met. Some updates for you around downtown's next step, kind of the future revisioning for Main Ave. We're getting close to the finish line with the conceptual design phase. That does not mean we're going to start construction in 2 weeks from now. These are just conceptual designs. We're just reaching out to community, trying to create that vision for what makes sense for the next 50, 100 years of downtown. Our next community open house is going to be in person here at the FLC Innovation Center, Thursday, May 19th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. What we're going to do is we're going to roll out a block by block rendering of what some of those conceptual designs, how they might fit in from 14th all the way down to the train depot. We're looking for you to come slap some sticky notes onto that big 8-block rendering, what you really like, what you don't like, what you want to see, all that good stuff. If you can't make it in person, we have the same kind of digital rendering available online. Just go to the city's website, type in downtown's next step. You'll see that pop out. Speaking of pop outs, our 2022 bump outs, you might have noticed that some of those big concrete planters are just sitting empty on Main. We're gonna get those filled with soil in the next week, and then we're gonna get flowers planted the first week of June, once the threat of last frost isn't with us anymore. An exciting update from the Creative Economy Commission. So with the 2021 passing of the lodgers tax increase, we have officially released our lodgers tax arts and culture funding request application. There's going to be 2 rounds of funding for arts and culture projects, events, experiences, and programs for 2022. Our first deadline is going to be June 30th. Our second deadline is going to be August 31st. Again, that application is available on the city's website. If you have any questions about project eligibility, if your project or program experience is a good fit, please reach out to me, tommy.crosby@durangogov.org. But we're really excited to put those lodgers tax dollars to work and get that money into our arts and culture community. A quick housing program update. So we've been working on making our ADU program a little bit more flexible and accessible. So our community development staff, we're making some recommendations to consider some amendments to our land use and development code that will allow ADUs in all residential zones. They'll add a little bit of flexibility to some of the parking requirements, as well as some flexibility around those building setbacks and standards. So that's being brought to our planning commission, but please kind of keep that on your radar as some updates making our ADU program a little bit more accessible and easy to implement. One last kind of public service announcement is we're really trying to get the word out on zoning and permitted uses before businesses sign the dotted line. What we're asking with that is if you're a potential business owner or you're working with a potential business, if you're a real estate agent, please double, triple check with the city of Durango for the current permitted use on that building. We've just ran into some issues lately that businesses have signed the dotted line. They're a year or so into their lease. They're looking to make some changes or updates to their building, thinking that their zoned or their permitted use is one use when really that use has expired. It can be a slippery slope, and we really want to set those businesses up for success up front before they're making that investment into a property. So please just encourage your businesses to double and triple check the permitted use before they're signing that dotted line. We're trying to get the word out as much as possible to those communities who are helping out some of those businesses when they are, maybe moving location or they're a first-time business owner, and they think, oh, great, I found a building that works for me. I can do whatever I want in it. We're just trying to set them up for as much success as possible. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns about that, please reach out to me, tommy.crosby@durangogov.org. Thank you.
All right, we have Ted Holteen, his first meeting, and he's presenting.
Not much to present, but there's certainly a lot going on. Thanks very much. I don't have any slides, so that's fine. Thanks all. It's wonderful to see all of you. I've not seen some of you in a long time. Lots going on at the county. Things are staying very busy. I never knew how hard it was to spend $11 million, but that's what we're doing with our ARPA funds. As you may or may not have heard, it's kind of been divided into 3 segments, and we have begun to make some, we've begun spending it. We've got a new ambulance coming for Durango Fire Protection District for specifically for mental health, a new HVAC unit on our 911 emergency call center. And the other money is being funneled into broadband throughout the county, connecting everywhere from the top of Wolf Creek Pass out to Cortez and then down south as well. My apologies. We had a wonderful Office of Emergency Management wildfire drill a couple of weeks ago. You may have read about that as well. And we have established the Wildfire and Watershed Protection Fund and got a new coordinator. Allison Lehman has moved over from our planning department to run that, along with Shauna Lagarza and Rob Farino out in our Emergency Operations Center. It's an incredible place, and I would encourage all of you to check it out. It's out there in Bodo Park underneath the 911 center. We had about 20 participating agencies in this drill. We actually evacuated Falls Creek in its entirety. We did tabletop exercises evacuating Mercy Hospital and all of the subdivisions around there. And it is wildfire season, so really be very, very careful, and just any help you can give us in spreading that particular message would be wonderful. We are revising, I should say, our strategic plan for the county. We've had some initial meetings on that. We went out to Breen, we went down to Ignacio. Of course, some of you came and saw us at the administration building. I am in the process of revising that, as I say, and we'll start an entirely new public process once we have a draft of that. Want everyone to get a chance to see it and weigh in on it. I do want to echo Jack's call for leadership La Plata. I am a proud graduate myself, I think 2010, somewhere in there. Jasper, you're a wonderful man. If you have been through it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I think you should do it. And I would also encourage you to maybe, if you don't have the time, or if you already have done it, to select someone from your organization to go through it, because it's an incredible program, one of the best years of my life personally. Other than that, I'm open to any questions you may have. We have a homeless camp you may have heard about as well that has raised some discussions, but perhaps another talk for another day. Thanks so much.
Moving right along. Mayor Clark Craig, Ignacio.
Yeah, thanks.
Just a few things. Good morning, Clark Craig, Mayor of Ignacio. So we do have a board representative for the Alliance appointed last night. That's going to be Edward Box, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll do the Tuesday membership updates because we're here either way. But we've got a couple of great things going on. We just purchased some property last night, authorized that purchase. It's on Goddard. We've got some pretty big plans for that. As well as we received a DOLA grant for a stormwater replacement. We got some aging utilities, and so things are starting to happen. So pretty exciting that we got that. I'd like to switch hats, put on the chamber hat if I could. We have some upcoming events I just want to make everyone aware of. Coming up here at the end of May, you've got the Southern Ute Bear Dance. July 30th, we've got the San Ignacio Parade. That's going to be at 10 a.m. September 3rd, get that on your calendar. That's the Green Chili Festival. Sharon is heading that up for us out there. But I think one of the biggest things that we want to talk about is Sunday, Foxfire Farms is opening up their tasting facility at 1 o'clock. And then June 3rd, they'll start their Friday nights. So keep the Foxfire in mind. Any questions? Nope. Okay, great.
Mayor, Chamber Director, Sheriff. All right, and lastly, but not least, Mayor Tarkington.
Good morning. Just a couple quick updates on our land use. We are next board meeting next Tuesday. We're looking for the final plan approval on our Marlin Village, which is our tiny home community, and our Mustang Crossing, which is our big 81 lot community. Our Orchard PUD was finalized, so we're looking forward to groundbreaking on that. So things are happening. As far as economic development is concerned, this Thursday, I invite everyone to our Chamber of Commerce reboot, 5:30 to 7:30 at Eagle Park. And save the dates, the third Thursdays of June, July, and August, our block parties are back. We will have vendors, music, beer garden. I don't know if you know, but Bayfield, there is a cute little downtown called Mill Street. We're not just a tractor store or a couple gas stations. So get off the beaten path and come join us down in our downtown Bayfield. Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing for the greater good of the order, we will wrap. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Jack.
Patty, you want to plug your thing?
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you. So many of you know that Jerry and Carrie Martinez are going to be leaving Durango. So the 100 Club, which is an organization that supports police and fire, is hosting a goodbye party for him next Monday, like a week from yesterday, from 5 to 6:30 at the Double Tree. So it's just a come in, little cash bar, say goodbye to Jerry. I don't think Karen will be here, Carrie will be here, but it'd be good. Anyone who wants to come, come.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sad to see them go, but yeah.
Well, if nothing else, then we will wrap. I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thank you for being here.
More like me.